In today's video, we're going to talk about 5 NHL players who I think have the potential next season to break out into superstars. And what I mean by this is, say they're like a tier 2 level player or a tier 3 level player. I think they can take that next step forward and really solidify themselves as superstars in the NHL. So let's get right into the video. The first player we're going to talk about in this video, you guys seen him in the thumbnail, and that is Jonathan Huberdeau of the Florida Panthers. Now, coming out of the QMJHL where he played for St. John Sea Dogs, he was seen as a guy who could come in and turn the fortunes of the Florida Panthers franchise around, and that's really how good they saw this guy. And he hasn't quite lived up to that throughout the course of his career, but he still has been a really reliable player. And he's 25 years old, and he still has a lot of time in his prime left and could definitely still blossom into a superstar, and I think he will. He really did have a season to build off of last year, where in 82 games, that's always a nice thing to see when a player plays in all 82 games, he scored 27 goals and added 42 assists for 69 points, and that's a pretty good total that kind of got overshadowed by Barkov, who was always in the media and really kind of focused on as the number one guy in Florida. But I definitely think Huberdeau is a huge part of the success that they're going to have in the next coming years. In his career so far, he's played in 385 games and has 95 goals and 172 assists for 267 points, and in 6 playoff games, these all coming in one playoff series against the New York Islanders, he scored 1 goal and added 3 assists for 4 points, and you can bet that Jonathan Huberdeau is going to get some more playoff experience next season, because I really think the Florida Panthers as a team are ready to take the next step into becoming a playoff team. And I think if Huberdeau takes that step and really gets that 69 points up to around 85 to 90, I think that would do wonders for the Panthers and make them that much more deadly, and I think that is something we could see in the coming years. Next up on my list is Rickard Rakell of the Anaheim Ducks. Now, Rickard Rakell doesn't get too much attention just because when you think of the Ducks, you obviously think of Corey Perry and Ryan Getzlaf and Ryan Kessler, but the core in Anaheim really is aging, and it's soon time to hand the keys over to a new player to kind of take over the franchise and be that centerpiece, and I think they have that guy in Rickard Rakell, who, like Jonathan Huberdeau, is only 25 years old and is only going to get better. And he's a center, and that is the position of Getzlaf, and I think when he's finally ready to not be a number one center anymore and his production kind of drops off, I think Rickard Rakell is going to step into that number one center spot and absolutely thrive for the Anaheim Ducks. He's played in 313 games over the course of his career so far and has 96 goals and 102 assists for 198 total points, and in 46 playoff games he has 11 goals and 8 assists for 19 points. And this previous year was Rickard Rakell's best season so far, where in 77 games he had 34 goals and 35 assists for 69 points, and I think next season we will definitely see Rickard Rakell break the 40 goal mark and get that point total up to around 85 to 90, and then I think he'll finally get the recognition he deserves and really be solidified as a superstar in the NHL. Next up is Sebastion Aho of the Carolina Hurricanes, not to be confused with Sebastion Aho, the defenseman of the New York Islanders. This Aho is the much better player, and he really, in my opinion, is the franchise guy for Carolina heading into the future. And most people might not know this, but he's already played in 160 games and he's only 20 years old. He's a right winger. He put up 53 goals and 61 assists for 114 total points so far throughout the course of his career. He has no playoff stats yet, obviously, as in the previous 2 seasons the Carolina Hurricanes have not been a playoff team, but I think next year or maybe the year after that we will definitely see the Carolina Hurricanes in the playoffs. They definitely have the defense core. In my opinion, right now, it's just a matter if they can get consistent goaltending and have a goaltender that can really carry them into the playoffs and throughout the playoffs. Their defense and offense really has been evolving, and I think adding Andrei Svechnikov just gives them that much more goal scoring and makes them that much more lethal. And last year, Aho in 78 games had 29 goals and 36 assists for 65 points, and I think this guy has the potential to blow up next year and put up around 85 to 90 points, and I really do think we could see that. And remember, he's only 20 years old, which is absolutely insane, and he's only going to get better. So in my opinion, you can look out for him to be one of the most exciting players to watch and really solidify himself as a superstar in the NHL in the coming years. Next up is Sean Couturier of the Philadelphia Flyers, and obviously this guy isn't going to get a lot of credit because he plays behind players like Claude Giroux and Jakub Voracek, and obviously Nolan Patrick coming in as the second overall pick in the draft. He's obviously going to get a lot of attention from the fans and media as well, but in my opinion, the unsung hero and one of the most important players to the Philadelphia Flyers organization is Sean Couturier. He's 25 years old and is only getting better. He's played in 498 games so far throughout the course of his career and has 101 goals and 166 assists for 267 total points. And in 24 playoff games, he has 8 goals and 5 assists for 13 points. And this previous year, I thought Sean Couturier was amazing. He played in all 82 games, which is always a really good thing to see, and put up 31 goals and 45 assists for 76 points. And obviously, with Claude Giroux having the season he had, finishing second in total points in the NHL, obviously he's going to get a lot of the credit and a lot of the recognition in Philadelphia, but in my opinion, I don't think Claude Giroux is going to score 100 again next season, and I think Sean Couturier really could solidify himself and kind of take over as the number one scoring option on this team. I know many people might think I'm crazy for saying that, but I really do see that ability in Sean Couturier, and the good thing about him is he's not one-dimensional. He's a very good defensive forward as well. He showed so much heart when he played through that injury throughout the playoffs. He was also fantastic in the playoffs for the short run that the Flyers had, and I really do think we will start seeing him get some more credit in the coming years. I really do believe he is that good, and I would look out for Sean Couturier to really explode and burst onto the scene as one of the top centers in the game in the coming years. And lastly, the last person in this video, Mitch Marner of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, I think this guy is going to explode next season playing on a line with John Tavares, because that is where I think he's going to end up playing. He's 21 years old. He's already one of the most exciting players to watch in the entire NHL, and I think he's going to catch some more eyes next season. In his career so far, he's played 159 games and has 41 goals and 89 assists for 130 points, and I think he's going to rack up the assists playing alongside Tavares and Hyman next season. And in 13 playoff games, he has 3 goals and 10 assists for 13 points. Obviously playing fantastic in the postseason, and we really seen him thrive this year in the first round matchup against the Boston Bruins. I thought that Mitch Marner was the best player on the Toronto Maple Leafs throughout that series, and I'm sure not a lot of people could argue that. He played in 82 games last year. He led the Leafs in scoring with 69 total points, and I think that point total could be up there around 90 if he plays the full season and stays healthy with John Tavares next year, because that could be one of the deadliest combos in the entire NHL, and him really coming into his own and becoming a superstar that he really does have the potential to be, that just makes the Toronto Maple Leafs that much scarier heading into next season for other teams in the Atlantic Division. So that is going to wrap up the video. I really hope you guys did enjoy, and make sure to let me know down in the comment section who are some players that you guys think will burst onto the scene and really break out into superstars next year. Remember, this isn't just players that will break out and have decent years. This is players that are kind of the tier 2 of the NHL and take a step and really be talked about with some of the best players in the game. So with that being said, I really hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please make sure to drop a like on it and subscribe to the channel for daily NHL content, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.